So we have been talking a lot about brands need to advertise and stuff, but the most people who are talking about brands who need to advertise have an agenda there. Are advertising agencies because they'll make money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying brands don't need to advertise. I think what I'm saying is the ball game has completely changed. Right now, if you are not a business which can sell to customers at this point of time, then only communicate to customers something which can be relevant, which can be useful to them, or don't communicate at all. There's no point going back and saying, I don't know if a restaurant, there's no point going back and saying we exist and we are great. Because I know you exist, you're great, but I can't go and come to your restaurant.
True.
If
but
you are
a question of brand recall. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Completely. So let me complete and I'll come to that. So the second part of the is if you are selling a product or service which customers need, yes, then you should communicate, and completely depends. For each product or service that will be different. Primarily budget would be in digital, social. So those are a few options left. Now coming to your question of brand recall. It's a brand, the biggest brand, and the biggest brand in the world, which is given as a brand, not the biggest brand, one a brand which was given as a branding example all through the decades. Coca-Cola has decided not to advertise during this time. So Coke is not advertising at all, and that's something which when I the first article I wrote on this, and I said that's what before Coke doing. Then this was my point. Right now is you're going to be extremely insensitive to go back and say let's start advertising. It's been 2 months. India is a different scenario altogether. You can start marketing, but you need to say something relevant. In terms of brand recall, what kind of brand have you built that customers will forget it in 2 months? If that's the kind of brand you have built, then you shouldn't be in the business of marketing.
See, there's different kind of brands. Like, for example, one of my clients had started open shop in December. This was this December. And the unfortunate incident happened where they had to lock things down and just shut shop. Right. So how does one keep that brand alive, even though its shelf life has been so small? It's not had the time to really percolate in the audience's minds. In that sort of a scenario, when they're non-essential, how does one maintain, that brand recall and just relevance?
So, there are extremely different opinions right now on this. If you read articles, and the reason extremely different reads on this, and perhaps that's what I should have started with, is that you're talking about brand, you're talking about consumer psyche, and you're talking about, let's say if this is a Delhi-based brand, geography.
Yes, it is. It is.
The answer will completely depend on what your brand is, who are you catering to. Brand answer is never generic. So we are trying right now so it completely depends on what kind of brand there is. So if you're looking, example I shared earlier was Airbnb, how Airbnb is communicating right now. And example, because Airbnb is a brand in a very difficult position. Okay. So there is definitely a way to communicate, but there's not a specific answer that yes, as a brand, you should be reaching out. The answer is that for each brand, the solution will be different. You need to find a way to, if your consumers can't buy you, then you need to find a way. Most brands seem to be ignoring that their COVID exists. So either they're only saying, they're saying, okay, let's come and we are going to put up a doctor and you can talk about COVID and stuff, or they're ignoring. You need to find a way to connect with what your consumers find interesting.
All right. Now, a lot of questions, while you've been talking, a lot of questions have come up asking about non-essential brands. So brands like, let's say, hospitality.
Specific.
So there was this lodge that is called Dolina Retreat. They just asked a question, is brand awareness important currently, even if you can't generate sales? Because obviously the hospitality sector has been hit hard. So how does one generate brand awareness at this time for such a brand?
So, exactly. So the answer. So where is this lodge located? Any information on that?
I don't know if it is. I think this is Missouri, if I'm not sure.
Let me assume. Okay. So let's say right now, if you're in the hospitality segment, chances are you're not going to generate any business for the next 6 months to a year in India at least.
Fair enough.
There is this brand called Luxury Escapes.
Okay.
They are now taking bookings for the next 1 year, discounted prices.
Okay.
Okay, so they are saying that and the communication is also interesting. I believe they're saying it's things will get better, and it's a great chance to buy a holiday at a discounted price. In America, people are buying cruise, America or Europe. Cruise tickets are being sold left, right, and center, despite cruises going through such a tough time because cruise ticket prices have fallen.
Yeah.
So there is answer will completely depend on your business. So that's why I'm saying. So we shouldn't first answer what a brand should do. The first question is, what is your brand? What is your business in? If your business is in hospitality, you can't sell for the next 1 year. So you should start preparing for your revenue. Can you get bookings at a certain price?
Okay.
Okay. And there have been some interesting campaigns. It's very difficult to share campaigns right now. But there have been some interesting campaigns by hospitality brands all over the globe where they have tried to bring hospitality to a customer's doorstep. Okay. But those are one. Otherwise, when business can't function, I don't believe, unless you can start taking bookings, there's no point on keeping on having a conversation.
Fair enough.
On and off, but don't keep on selling to a customer because he or she is going to get pissed off after a point.
And if we talk about, say, essential brands, at a time when budgets are definitely being cut, people are being laid off, how does a company kind of segregate budgets for marketing? So there is one, part of the population that says you should be marketing heavily right now. This is the time everyone's active online. Your consumers are out there. You can interact with them. But vis-a-vis, there's also a side of the story where there's no budget. Budgets are being slashed left, right, and center. So how does one deal with that sort of a predicament?
Again, Ria, I'll come back to that. We need to stop thinking as marketers. We need to first think as consumers. So a consumer does not distinguish between essential and non-essential.
Yeah.
So again, I'll say, you need to. So when you mention non-essential, the answer became more specific when you mentioned hospital or lodge in Missouri. So similarly, for a non-essential brand, depends on what business is. So let's pick a business and let's discuss that. Because the answer will complete. See, business branding, the basic thing is no two sectors are the same. So the answer will completely vary depending on the sector. If non-essential, you have a category in mind, then we can kind of boil it down to. Even for essential. Both.
Even for essentials? I mean, I would talk about the, restaurant industry because I would not call them essential per se, but yes, they are active right now. They're delivering. So how does one deal with that sort of a industry?
So restaurants. Yeah, so restaurants, I think it's a great opportunity for restaurants right now because the restaurants have suddenly gone from, if you look at the consumer psyche, they've gone from utility where you go, let's eat out today. That was utility. Now it's become an experience.
Yes.
Okay, that's because even the decision to order in food, you need to think about it.
Yes.
Safety, etc. So suddenly, right now, so you need to step out from a marketer's mind and step into consumer's mind. So suddenly something which was a utility is becoming an experience. Now that's an opportunity for restaurants to build a connect. If you can build a community around your brand. So, if you look at US there's been a trend that favor the mom and pop local restaurants, the shop. India, we still don't have that on that big an extent. Okay, this is an opportunity for restaurant to build a committed customer base. So if a restaurant is delivering to Ria and because she keeps on ordering, so next time make sure you add a specific product which she likes free of charge.
Yeah.
Okay. Say something, if you can get a delivery note along with that, great. Drop a mail, use CRM to kind of target her specifically 1 or 2 weeks down the line that this is something we have. The entire objective of this entire exercise for a restaurant right now is, if you're going from an opportunity to go from a utility to experience, that will only happen if you build a community. If you can build a community so that once COVID ends, Ria has a special connection with X restaurant. Okay. So, and community building is a function of CRM and social media, primarily. So if you can start using these two effectively, CRM tools and social media, which means that you don't bombard your customers right, left, and center. So Ria and Saurabh don't get the same.
That's happening right now. Yeah.
Don't bombard your customers left, right, and center. See, that's where I said we need to be specific, because marketers are getting desperate. Take a step back, see the opportunity. Even there's a horrible saying, but it works. Never let a pandemic go to waste. and that's the reason, because businesses evolve during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Consumer behavior changes during a pandemic. If suddenly if right now a brand was special to you right now, there's chances you would remember. And we try and create special occasions. So CRM, social. This is a thought, execution, CRM, and social media. But don't market for any brand out there, whether it's essential, non-essential. Stop trying to sell to everyone, because then you won't sell to no one. Build a community. Probably, if I was a restaurant, is a high-end restaurant? Is a mid-range restaurant?
I mean, we have various. Let's say it's a mid-range restaurant. I mean, that's the. Yeah.
So if I would say if it's for a slightly more niche to a higher-end restaurant I would say this is also an opportunity. When you say community building, can you do something online to connect your customers? Okay. So can you, let's say, do a Zoom call where a bunch of your customers staying in different restaurants share a meal?
Oh, that's a lovely idea. Yes.
So you can CRM and these are CRM and social media. So can you, it's this exclusivity which you have to be the community builder through your food. Stop being a utility. Okay. So that would be restaurant. We have looked at restaurant.
So we've got more questions about luxury brands. So how does one deal with luxury brands and branding for them?
Luxury will be a very interesting category. So in China, Hermes, I don't know how to pronounce the bag company, French.
Yes.
How do you pronounce it?
Hermes.
Hermes. So they had the largest single-day sale ever once COVID opened.
Yes, I read that. It's very surprising. Yeah. Revenge buying. Okay, so Nikita is saying revenge buying.
So if you look at China, Indonesia, India, expect these things to happen here. If US, so look, emerging economies, the psyche behind that, I believe, is more control. Yeah. When humans lost, we tend to want to control. So luxury as an industry will probably do well. Super luxury. Because rich people will become richer during the COVID. That's going to happen. Super rich people. B, your labor costs will go down. C, that's suddenly very. It's also that right now you can't access it, but sooner or later, once you come out, your first impulse will be, oh, I need to give myself a treat.
Yeah.
And that treat will probably, you won't be happy with the Big Chill's cheesecake. You would probably want an iPhone. So if you can afford that. So luxury is going to do across the world depends on access. See, right now all the answers depend on when COVID opens, when e-commerce normally starts. And luxury will.
Very subjective.
That's.
So I mean, but what about the fact that people are being laid off left, right, and center? Their, salaries are being cut in half, literally. What about that? The economy is crashing. Is that not going to have an effect on the luxury market?
True, but the people who are being laid off left, right, and center do not buy Hermes bags.
That's true. That is that. Yeah.
That's luxury. So that's why I did not. So I'm not talking about the person for whom luxury is big cheesecake.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about people like me. I'm talking about somebody for whom luxury for whom
afford a 25 lakh bag. Yeah.
To go buy a 60,000 phone as a normal thing. That's not a big deal for them.
Yeah.
So that's the customer we're talking about. For them, the ultra rich. So this is DLF Emporio, I guess that's the one.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're talking about that customer segment, those kind of brands. This is not for because luxury also become a much abused word. So we're talking about the real luxury. Those guys are going to do really well. Rest depends. The rest really depends on how expensive the products are.
So if we were to say go back to the beginning of the conversation where you said that you don't need to necessarily be communicating if you are not relevant right now, right? That's kind of what you implied. So is it better to just...
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Is it better to just be quiet at such a time, or, just create content that is relevant to your audiences? And how? I mean, if you could tell us some best practices that brands are doing right now in terms of that.
So for this, I need to share a concept which talks about share of voice. And this call is too short to do that here. So I'll create a separate video, and that's why I just note it down. So I'll create a separate video for that and talk about it. But to give a short answer, my point is that it's not that you shouldn't communicate. Communicate if you have something useful or relevant to say. Okay. So for most of the brands, when we started discussing them, we could find something useful or relevant to say. Okay. But when you look at that, it's a change in perspective. It's not how they normally used to. And that's a problem. See, right? Marketeers, for some reason, their home life has changed, while how they function on a daily basis has changed. They assume customers' lives are normal, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So you're sending the customer the same email saying, okay, buy this, wear PPE mask, talk to a doctor. The world has changed. So you need to understand the world has changed and either accept a mishap or grab that opportunity, depends on the business you are. But the first step is to completely recognize this is a change environment for us. So you can definitely do interesting stuff. Right now, completely depends on your business. So I remember, I'll give you an example. One of the toughest questions I found in the list was a football academy.
Okay.
Question. In the list of questions you sent me, to market a football academy.
Yeah.
That's a space I've never worked on. I was just thinking about this. And because a football academy basically means you're asking a bunch of kids to collect and play, which is the toughest thing to do after
right now.
COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. But even if you look at it now, if you're talking about a world where everything goes back to normal, like COVID is over, which is happening right now in Vietnam and some other parts of the world. If that happens, I think it's a great opportunity right now for this brand. Right now, not later. Because right now, the conversation for them could be, because parents can see their kids getting addicted to digital devices.
Yeah.
Parents can see the kids becoming, craving friends. So right now could be the right time to kind of just get that community going.
Yeah.
Around or pre-registration going, or just setting the brand, doing a typical VLCC before-after comparison. And this is the before. And you sell the dream of after. So it completely depends. The message will be different, but there is a lot can be done. But you can't go back and say, oh, let's play football. Because your brand is no longer about football. It's about community. It's about kids.
True.
So that's what you need to focus on. the basic
See, the
step
way
is,
events
what.
have also gone online. You can't really take such a idea online. You can't have a Zoom call for a football academy,
Football.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be weird. So yeah, you can't. So exactly. So community building, you need to kind of sell. You need to sell the dream, and in a very
Yeah.
honest way, without taking money for it. If you can start getting people interested that this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to keep your kids safe,
Hmm.
or etc. In the future. And I'm talking about the toughest business. So this is like, even in this case, I know there are going to be a challenges. So if a football academy, there are options, right? I'm sure there's, but right now the problem is a football academy. I'm not sure if they're doing it. Is going back and talking normal stuff as in, hey, this is what we used to do. And we're going to open up soon. We are hoping that.
Yeah.
Sixth step of marketing, spirituality, life is you accept reality.
You
So
can't
we
be
need to
ignorant.
accept
Yeah.
reality.
True.
We need to accept this is the world we are operating in, and what can we do? And by the way, in football, you never know. One idea which can probably work is, can you get football is a lot about strategy. Can you get these young adults to start collaborating on strategy via FIFA online?
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
you can always try out stuff for,
Hmm.
or you can give exercise videos to kind of for these kids to start training. Like, because you're playing a game, you always warm up. You can start getting them in the mental mode for any brand you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the first step is think, what is my brand and what can we do it? Is there other questions?
Someone just said that German football has started again this weekend with social distancing measures. So, I mean,
Okay, I don't know.
I was unaware of that. So, are
But
there any other questions that stood out to you from the ones I sent you
uh,
that we may not have addressed?
one question that I would want to address. So so one question I'm going to plug in here right now. So because what Riya kind of said, let's have the session. So I decided to start an Instagram channel called the Alt View, and the idea is to share thoughts around business, marketing, and startups. So one question which was interesting to me is this the right time to start up?
Yeah, that was asked
the
here
first.
as well. Yes.
I think it's the best time to start up. Unless you are a guy as a person, guy, who or rather, let me rephrase my answer. It's the best time to start up because the fact is the Indian market was the startup ecosystem was blown up a bit. The funding we have been talking about for the last 2-3 years, that are the numbers real? Is it being overinflated? So right now, what has happened when you look at marketing, when you look at business across, what COVID has done is in some cases, it seems that COVID has drastically changed everything. But what COVID has really done in a lot of cases is it has just accelerated things which are already happening.
Yeah.
So for advertising agencies and startups, both which were, I would say, overinflated to a large extent, for them, for startups, a lot of startups will collapse right now because the numbers were nowhere real.
True.
So what's going to emerge right now is a good breed of startups who know how to bootstrap, how to build real business and not VC funded. And if you can survive the next 2-3 years as a startup, then you know real business much easier to raise money. So that it's a great time to start. And and it's also because you will get
a few more questions. Yeah. So someone's asking, is it a good time to infuse money on Facebook ads once the lockdown is over, when purchase power is hampered? So what are your thoughts on Facebook advertising right now?
Completely again. See, all my answers will depend on you tell me a specific business, because a generic answer will be this, but realistically, you don't have too many options except Facebook. Or like when you advertise your social media, few online platforms.
Yeah.
So if you fit the bill, so let's say if you're the lodge or the
ice
football
cream brand, as far as I know, Nishkarsh, correct me if I'm wrong. Yes.
Okay.
It's a protein
So
ice cream.
like a year supply of ice cream for this answer. So uh, Facebook ads, yeah, probably. Mishkash, for you, it's a great opportunity right now. Again, you're selling something. I'll go back to the restaurant thing, but for you, it's 10 times higher. You're selling something which is literally a dessert, which is something people crave for.
Yeah.
Can you make that craving stronger? Can you start getting people more interested? I'm assuming you can't sell it right now. I'm assuming that's what's happening. So if you can't sell it right now, can you build the craving stronger without being very salesy? Can you build that so that the day it opens, you get enough orders in? You get enough orders in. Can you build that your brand like that?
Yeah.
And in terms of platform, Facebook ads are probably your best bet because Google ads won't work. Um, Twitter, no. So Facebook, Instagram are your best bets. I would suggest Insta instead of Facebook, actually.
I would suggest the same. I wouldn't suggest, anyone put budget. So he's saying that the friction point is coming through, that myths associated with ice cream causing a sore throat, which is leading to bad PR at a time when you want to keep your immunity high and not, fall sick.
So yeah, so right now when you're selling, so it's not the objective is don't try to say that's what my point is. For an ice cream brand, don't try and sell it now. If your communication is buy product at 30 rupees or whatever that is, or these flavors right now, that's going to be a problem because right now people don't want to take risks. But understand, when people don't want to take risks, human nature is that they're hoping for a better tomorrow when they can take the same risks. So focus on the tomorrow, not on today when they anyway don't want to take risks. Focus on how great that this is the best thing to enjoy. Because you're depressed. See what happens when you diet. When you diet, you're constantly thinking about, I'm going to go and have my cheat meal. So this is your cheat meal. It's an enforced cheat meal on all these customers of yours. So rather than selling them, and this get their databases. Right now, use Facebook ads. Most Indian businesses do a horrible job on CRM. Start using CRM tools. Get their databases and start marketing to only them. Don't send it to everybody. So run in Facebook ads, say get 20% off when the store opens or whatever. Make it a little more creative. Get their database and then start sending them emailers, not bombard them, on and off, interesting, fun emailers. In the food space, look at Swiggy. And to get them interested once the restaurant opens. And get some other information, their birthday, their anniversary, etc., etc. So, yeah.
There's more questions coming in. Someone's talking about media buying for small businesses. How does one go about it during this time?
How are they going about it earlier depends.
I think they mean, I think also they're referring to traditional media. So digital, yes, we've all, spoken at length about. Let's also talk about, your print media, your other kinds of media that are more traditional.
So, Ria, the answer, so, there is a peculiar situation, India and US right now. Europe is changing. So, actually, India and US are because no one knows when this will end.
True.
So, so now the point is, because Maharashtra, suddenly the numbers are increasing, right? Okay. So, it depends on when things go back to normal. So your answer is completely, so when you look at print, if the situation continues, so of course, for print, I don't think print will go back to normal for a very long time. Now, print's response will depend on how long this situation continues. One thing I see print doing is that if you look at what NDTV and CNN and IBN started doing a number of years back, that they need to have a very strong digital presence. But when you look at Times of India or Hindu, they have digital presence is bad. Is really bad. I think they're going to start looking at these as revenue sources. Because I don't see a behemoth like Times of India sitting down and saying, okay, we have lost.
Yeah.
I don't see them, Bennett and Coleman, shutting shop. I feel that right now they should quickly evolve and go the New York Times way. Look at digital as a serious business. So that's going to start changing because people are going to consume news. So that's if they rise up in time, If they don't, then there are going to be new upstarts like InShots and stuff who will take their place in the news media. Now, one thing which could be interesting is some of the budgets going to, which is not happening right now, is streaming services. So streaming services right now, if you look at the major ones, Prime and Netflix don't have ads.
Yeah.
Hotstar, I think, is ad supported. Has an ad.
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
So so Z5 has ads. So there is a chance. I don't think Netflix will do it because of global player, but there's a chance that if streaming continues to grow in countries like USA or India, continues to grow, and this continues, there's a chance that it could be looked as a revenue source for brands that could be good alternative to television. That's something which have been about for quite some time, but there was always other mediums. With other mediums, so if you can't go out of home, if you can't do events, you can't do print. If COVID continues like this for the next 3-4 months, then those things are out of picture.
Yeah.
Then there will be options, but answer completely depends on when the lockdown ends. If it's just a matter of a month or so, I think only print will be affected. Or out of home and activation will go back, and print will be positively affected because print really needs to get more digital savvy.
Yeah.
So that's what I see happening. I hope that answers that question in terms of where they should. So their budget, they should shift online right now. Currently, if they were to shift their budget today and had a plan to market, I would say Facebook generally is your best bet, but depends on the space you are in. Most brands don't even travel, right? That could be a great bet for some niche brands. So depends.
I think we've covered most of the questions that were asked, and the general consensus is that there's a lot of good take back from this discussion, and I'm really glad that you could take out time for this. And if we get good feedback, we'll definitely be continuing this, maybe more often, as there's some plans that we're working on. Let's see how the future goes. But thank you so much, Saurabh sir, and hope you enjoy your time in Vietnam and you're back soon, safe and sound in one piece.
I hope so too. And thank you for everybody who was here. And had a great interaction. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.